top three things in my notebook this morning. Number one, the U.S. dollar. Number two, the 10-year bond yield here in the U.S., and then number three, all of Europe. So first on the dollar, last week, again, the second consecutive down week for the dollar, and again, there was a causal impact to the Fed, both cutting its growth forecasts and easing rhetorically, so again, pushing out expectations of a rate hike, which we don't think they'll ever do unless you have a regime change at the Fed. But the point is well taken, down 0.4% on the week for the U.S. dollar. The dollar does not look good going into the 4th of July, which is not good for American purchasing power. Neither is it good for the consumer, obviously, which is slowing. Second point is the 10-year bond yield completely agrees with everything that I just said, while Wall Street does not. You're already seeing people start to come our way on inflation, but what they haven't done is the next move, which is tell you what inflation does, which is it slows real consumption growth. Now, the bond market agrees with that. The bond market, of course, the 10-year bond yield was down 7 basis points last week. It's down almost 50 basis points now for the year to date, with consensus still telling you that rates are going to go up. Well, newsflash, they're going down. Again, bond yields go down when growth expectations start to fall as inflation expectations continue to rise. So again, that's real-world economics as opposed to some Keynesian textbook. Finally, Europe not acting well. Last week was a divergent week for European equities relative to almost every part of the world. It underperformed emerging markets, underperformed the U.S. European stock 600 index down 1.8% last week with no bounce, even though it's month end today. So even though month end is coming and going within another couple hours for Europe, you do not have a setup that looks any better than it did last week. So Italy and the DAX have broken their immediate-term trade lines of support or at least in the Hedgeye model. Interesting, new, and noteworthy if, in fact, it continues into July. So those are your top three things.